Welcome to the Fast Leader Podcast, where we explore convenient yet effective shortcuts that will help you get ahead and move forward faster by becoming a better leader. And now, here's your host, customer and employee engagement expert and certified emotional intelligence practitioner, Jim Rimbach.
Need a powerful and entertaining way to ignite your next conference, retreat, or team building session? My keynotes don't include magic, but they do have the power to help your attendees take a leap forward by putting emotional intelligence into their employee engagement, and customer-centric leadership practices. So bring the infotainment creativity of the Fast Leader Show to your next event. Go to beyondmorale.com/speaking to learn more. Okay, Fast Leader Legion, you'll want to make sure that you go to iTunes and download and subscribe to Fast Leader Show if you haven't already, because the guest on the show that we have today, her quick wit and get-to-the-point style is sure to help you cut through the clutter in your world. Blake Morgan graduated from the University of California, Santa Cruz, and with a focus in journalism, and on a whim, moved to New York City. And now Blake is a customer experience advisor that has worked with Intel, Verizon Wireless, Verizon, Newmark Knight, Frank Retail, One Medical, Misfit Wearables, Pegasystems, Clarabridge, Spark Central, and more. She's highly involved with SoCap, where she serves as the VP of Marketing for the Northwest chapter. Blake loves customer experience because as humans, we are feeling, sensing beings. Our most vivid memories are powerful experiences. Today, brands understand that creating a knock-your-socks-off digital experience is the way to the customer's heart. Outside of work, she volunteers with Hop Along Animal Rescue, managing their Twitter account, and helping dogs get fostered and adopted in the San Francisco Bay Area. In a past life, when she lived in New York City, she did it for 5 years, and that's where she met her husband at a CRM conference and moved to the Bay Area in under 2 weeks. Good thing it worked out, and so today she loves both her husband and calling the Bay Area home. Blake Morgan, are you ready to help us get over the hump?
Hey, Jim. Good morning. I'm ready.
All right, thanks. I'm glad you're here with us today. Now, I've given our listeners a little bit about you, but can you tell us what your current passion is so that we can get to know you even better?
My current passion, I would say, is dogs, because last night I actually had someone drop off a little puppy to my house that needs a home, and I just couldn't say no. She's the cutest 5-pound Yorkie mix with these devilish little eyebrows. And so I just got dogs crawling all over my house right now, and I would say that's my passion.
You know, it's definitely my kids' passion, too. They keep asking me to have one. But we were chatting earlier before we got started here today, and I was mentioning how my neighbor has adopted for a long time, for many years. And it's definitely something that, I mean, it takes a lot of effort. It's not simple. And I've even seen situations where people have gone through a very stringent screening process to actually be one of the adoptors and foster parents of pets. But it's so valued. So when you start thinking about that passion and where it comes from, I mean, why dogs?
Well, dogs actually were once wolves, and they figured out that if they could cozy up to humans, back in the caveman days, that humans would feed them. They would provide protection and comfort to humans, and humans would feed them. And it was a nice little kind of symbiotic relationship. And that's how actually dogs evolved from wolves. So now they've somehow become cuter. I think they figured out if they were cuter, they would get better food and better homes. So, there's a long history of dogs and humans being friends. And I've just always loved dogs. We had dogs when I was a kid. They're just wonderful. They're very calming. And it's just such a nice break from the hustle bustle of the day to just come home and just see this wagging tail, so happy to see you no matter what.
And listening to you talk, I started also thinking about with some of the work that you do, talking about, customer experience, customer engagement, and that whole evolution piece and the need to connect. I started seeing really a correlation in how you started talking about that evolution. While it's, maybe not politically correct to talk about humans as animals or in that way, but do you see some connections there in regards to how we actually do what you just said?
Well, we are actually animals, Jim. So it's okay. I think it's politically correct to say that we are. And definitely there are some interesting things you can pull out from that. People have always traveled in communities, and they basically contribute to society in the way that they can. And it's all about survival. And while we do have the internet today, we have LinkedIn and Facebook. Really, it's still about survival. It just looks very, very different than it did, let's say, 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, I could still say that, we're always looking for, that inspiration and some of the joy that absolutely pets can bring us, and including our, human relationships. And one of the things that we focus in on the Fast Leader Show is leadership quotes, or just quotes, I should say, that could give us that kind of inspiration and connection and really tap that emotion. Is there a quote or two that stands out for you that you can share with us?
There's a recent one I've been kind of fixated on from Warren Buffett. And what he says is that trust is a very expensive gift. Do not expect it from people who are cheap. And the reason I like this quote about being cheap is because I believe it has a lot to do with brands today and where they are misstepping with customer experience and their efforts to build relationships with customers. And we all have experiences with people in our lives that, they don't really like to spend money. They're very risk averse. They don't like to pay their half of lunch, maybe. They don't like to go out because they're just scared. But how does that relate to a brand? For example, I was recently on a flight to Melbourne with United Airlines, and United Airlines has recently announced that they are now serving a better coffee. They basically had a string of announcements about a customer experience initiative, one of which was the coffee. So I'm a huge coffee fan. I love coffee. The flight from Melbourne to the US or vice versa is 14 to 16 hours. It's grueling. So I knew about this announcement from United, and I went to the stewardess and I said, "Hi, can I have some of this elite coffee I hear of?" And she looked at me and said, "Oh, sorry, we're using the rest of the old stuff until we get the new stuff in because, of course, it's more cost effective." And for me, this was sent a message of, the airlines and other companies are only willing to really build relationships with their customers when it's convenient or cost effective for them. And in a way, it's like lying. In a way, they're kind of lying, like saying, "Oh, we want to improve customer experience," but really, they're not willing to actually walk the walk. And so for me, I want to surround myself with not only people who are spiritually wealthy and have this air of kind of wealth. I mean, not literally, not talking about money. I'm talking about generosity and kindness. Same with the brands that I do business with. I want to do business with brands that treat me like, they really care about building a relationship with me and they're willing to spare an expense. Where not like with United Airlines, who they'll do anything to save $1 at the expense of the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up something that's even more than a marketing campaign, like you were saying. I had the opportunity to interview John Wolski from Zappos, and he was talking about how human-centric, it can't be something you do. You have to actually pull it within your DNA.
Yeah. I love it. And Zappos absolutely gets it. They're the first. Tony Hsieh is a genius. He is super bold. I mean, the things he is willing to do are just wonderful without really care for the industry. I mean, everyone is looking at him. People are writing all kinds of rumors and gossip about holacracy right now, where Zappos removed managers from their system, basically. And he's still moving forward, kind of showing the world what can be, what is possible. And I think that's wonderful for Zappos. I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, I was just reading something talking about their holacracy change, that a certain percentage of employees actually took the buyout, because it's one of the things that Zappos kind of does, which to me I think is just totally unique and weeds out the ones that don't want that connection that you were referring to earlier. And the piece was really talking about how people left, but that isn't necessarily something that is a bad thing.
I totally agree, Jim. You don't want people working for your company who don't have it in their blood, especially one like Zappos, where you're living in Las Vegas. The people who work there, it's not just a day job. I mean, they have a community there. They're always doing happy hours together, like weekend parties, parades, running events. It's really a way of life. So Tony only wants people who are really committed. I mean, you really don't especially want people in customer service or customer facing roles that don't have it in their blood. You want people who are really proud to represent the brand and just love what they do and feel like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, that community has some power. I mean, why do dogs travel in packs? Why do they, all the thing, why do they connect with humans? Why do, the humans that have that high integrity and the things that you were talking about want to band together as well? I mean, hello. I mean, we all need to definitely, kind of ground ourselves. And I know for me, I've had situations where I've had to get over that hump where I was, especially in college talking about, the fraternity and the rushes and things like that. It's that I'm going to be, a GDI, which is a something independent, right? I'm going to be anti-fraternity. And for me, knowing where I am now, I'm like, it's hindsight. I'm like, that was just a bad mindset. It was. I limited myself some opportunities to grow networks at an early age that I just avoided. And that's, I wish I could turn back the clock, but I can't. So I know that was a hump, right? I didn't get over it. I didn't even realize it was a hump at the time, but there's a lot of learnings in there throughout our lives. Can you think about a time where you've had to get over the hump where it helped you with your learning? Can you share that with us?
I would say my experience moving to New York as a young person, a lot of the kids that go to New York are from the tri-state area. I was from Southern California, right? In the tri-state area, you've got a lot of old family names. You've got a lot of old money. So I always had roommates whose parents would like bring them furniture and food and take them shopping. And I always did everything myself because I really didn't have family around. And, I wasn't a trust fund baby. I had a job and like a lot of my friends and I, were living paycheck to paycheck, which was fun. We didn't feel bad about it because we were all struggling, all trying to make it work in New York. And I think that experience of just really learning to hustle and work hard, I'm not sure I would have learned that had I not had that experience of living in New York City at such a young age.
Being able to, make that move and just go there without those connections. You and I had talked about boldness, and that was some of the things that, is of interest, to you, and it is for me as well. And we also talked about that sometimes that boldness didn't serve us well, and that happens. And so finding that middle ground is really an important piece. Have you kind of done something or kind of ground yourself in a way so that you find that middle ground a little bit better?
I would say that meditation has been very helpful for me in just learning to slow down because I do like to respond quickly to things. I make calculations in my brain very quickly and decide things. But you know what? Sometimes there's a lot of beauty and benefit to just kind of taking a breath and thinking, okay, what is the best way to respond? And the beauty of meditation, even just 10 minutes a day, is it really slows your brain down and allows you to be calm, to be focused. And in a business environment, that's everything. I mean, just learning to kind of be quiet and listen for an extra even 30 seconds can mean the difference between you having a great day at work or kind of ruining a relationship with someone at work. So I would say meditation has been really key. And I do a lot of other things just throughout the day to make sure I'm fresh, like going for walks with my dog and exercise and taking good care of myself. You see a lot of people in business who don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't set up their life so they get enough sleep. They don't eat well. And I actually really think that it hinders their work. And you can tell when you meet people and they seem really, really amped up, like they've just been on social media like way too long, like scheduling tweets. And you're just like, okay, you obviously need to have some R&R time. That R&R time is really important when you meet people face to face or you're interacting with them. And they can tell if this person seems crazy or this person seems calm and rooted.
That's a very good point. And you mentioned something earlier for me that I've had to kind of check myself on, and that is, coffee. And while I'm not somebody who necessarily looks for, the unique brands and stuff, I mean, I'm good with just a, regular roast type deal, but it's when I have more than I should have. It kind of causes me to have problems with that whole stopping and thinking before it comes out. So I got to watch that. So I know you got a lot of things going on. I mean, the animal rescue piece, the SoCap, the, writing for Forbes, doing your own podcast, of course, your hubby, all those things and fitness. But when you start thinking about all those things, what are some of your goals?
My goal right now is to build my brand. I have been working for other people mostly for the last 10 years. I did my own consulting thing for about 2 years before I went to Intel to work at Intel. But when you're working at a big company, people don't really know who you are outside of the company. So I've been trying to build my brand. And even if you do work for an employer, I think it's so important for people to have a brand because especially in the Bay Area, a lot of these jobs are short term. And even if you are working for someone else, it's really important that you have your own personal brand. So right now for me, I just want people to know who I am. And so part of that is just being a content beast in a way, like every week, publishing YouTube videos, podcasts, articles, engaging online. And it matters. I get every week emails from people who have read a certain article, and even just one article that resonated with them can turn into a job project, I should say. So yeah, that's basically what I'm focusing on, building my company.
Well, and the Fast Leader Legion wishes you the very best. Now, before we move on, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. Leaders and organizations with higher emotional intelligence make more money and outperform those with lower EQ. So get over the hump now by leveraging the 54 emotional intelligence competencies in your human-centric leadership and organizational development. Download the complete list for free at beyondmorale.com/EQ. All right, here we go, Fast Leader listeners. It's time for the Hump Day Hoedown. Okay, Blake, the Hump Day Hoedown is the part of our show where you give us good insights fast. So I'm going to ask you several questions, and your job is to give us robust yet rapid responses that are going to help us move onward and upward faster. Blake Morgan, are you ready to hoe down?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So what do you think is holding you back from being an even better leader today?
Wow, scalability. I'm just one person. So when you're working for yourself, you're doing everything yourself. So scalability is tough.
What is the best leadership advice you have ever received?
Be yourself. If you're trying to be someone else, it's really obvious. And being yourself, someone will appreciate who you are and what you stand for. So don't ever try to be fake. And please feel comfortable in your own skin, because that's really attractive.
What is one of your secrets that you believe contributes to your success?
I would say just longevity in the business. I've been in this business for a while now. People know who I am. And I think just falling in love with one thing and learning everything there is to know, for me, that's actually been customer service since about 2008. And so now people know who I am, and it's wonderful. You build relationships that really last.
What do you feel is one of your best tools that helps you lead in business or life?
Being a good listener. Being a good listener is so important and so underappreciated. Listening is everything. When you listen, you'll really hear for that kind of golden ticket, and people appreciate you more because most people don't listen.
What would be one book from any genre that you'd recommend to our listeners?
I would say a book called Thick Face, Black Heart, especially for women in business. It's just a great overall personal development book, and a book about business as well, especially for young women who need to learn how to kind of toughen up and have thick skin.
Okay, Fast Leader listeners, you can find links to that and other bonus information from our show today by going to fastleader.net/Blake Morgan. Okay, Blake, this is my last Hump Day Hoedown question. Imagine you were given the opportunity to go back to the age of 25, and you've been given the opportunity to take the knowledge and skills that you have now back with you. But you can't take everything. You can only choose one. So what skill or piece of knowledge would you take back with you, and why?
Oh, confidence. In your 30s, especially as a lady, you have certain confidence you cannot have when you're 25. And I just wish I could bring my younger self a little more confidence, and everything would be a little better. But you can't do that. That's life.
Blake, it was an honor to spend time with you today. Can you please share with Fast Leader listeners how they can connect with you?
Absolutely. So feel free to visit my website at blakemichellemorgan.com, or Twitter. I'm Blake Michelle M, and would love to hear from you.
Blake Morgan, thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. The Fast Leader Legion honors you and thanks you for helping us get over the hump. Thank you for joining me on the Fast Leader Show today. For recaps, links from every show, special offers, and access to download and subscribe, if you haven't already, head on over to fastleader.net so we can help you move onward and upward faster.